What up, y'all? Today I wanted to talk about how when the narcissists, when they have the primary supply and they're excellent, right? And sometimes you have certain empaths that can give off even more supply than a general primary supply, and in some cases it could be like somebody along the lines of a super empath, or somebody that could be more of also like a higher challenge to a narcissist to take down. So it's like a lot of times what you'll find is, well, there's sometimes there's a lot of empaths that'll just fold for the narcissist. So they kind of just they don't want to lose the narcissist, right? And the narcissist makes themselves part of their seduction is makes the narcissist in the empath's mind, the unawoke empath, okay? It makes it in their mind that the narcissist is so much higher up than the individual, almost from the jump. You'll find this out, you'll realize this. And it's part of the seduction that they come with them, that entails. And what, part of this this game they play with the manipulation tactics and stuff. And if they have any sexual appeal to them, they're going to flaunt it in the right way so that it sends the right message. They also will kind of put forth things like, sometimes they don't have they're kind of very busy individuals, or they want to get it in your head already that they're, there's going to be days they're not going to have a whole lot of time for you, and they're not going to actually have any kind of responsibility to it, or too much of an excuse to tell you either. So they kind of start off this way, okay? And so you get kind of early on in your head that, or there could be other people that this goes for either sex, meaning like for women I'm speaking to as well, but it could be generally speaking like that. There's a lot of people that are pining for them, kind of, you get the idea of that. They'll kind of put that in your head to some degree because they've talked to you several times before you've gone out with them, kind of, maybe, typically, and kind of they're already working on this. They're already, devising their manipulations in your head already. And so a lot of times they will, they usually also pick people that they feel like that they can take down, because if they can't do it, some are challenged, yes, but they still believe, in all their greatness, right? In their that they got this, and then but what the regular empath will typically do, that's a primary supply as well, is they'll do anything at some point, after they are idolized, they will do anything to keep the narcissist. So that's why they end up giving them everything, man, even down to then they'll start getting that breadcrumb where they'll get on that hamster cage and run faster, and maybe they can get the narcissist back, or do whatever, or show the narcissist, that they're number one, or whatever. And so the problem with that is the narcissist starts to lose a whole lot of respect for that individual, that type of empath. So and that generally is what happens. And so then that empath will just continually, they might have started out up here, real independent, secure, taking care of business, and meeting this individual, had a few conversations with them, liked their original appeal. They liked their mask that they're seeing unbeknownst to them. And they may even they typically, an empath will, or that's grown up in these families, will have like an enticing feel about it, because they are addicted to certain types of narcissists. And but I have to say the same thing about the narcissist is addicted to certain types of empaths as well. And so what happens is they get that the narcissist gets that empath, and then that empath ends up turning into like this simp, basically, man or woman, and they'll just do anything for them, and then they end up getting to a point to where the empath looks pitiful. They can look real pitiful, because you're doing everything, and then the narcissist starts treating you bad, starts cheating on you, and start doing all these things, and then they start talking bad to you, everything, and you're still taking it. You're thinking that your love will fix it, or you can people please them into, getting this beginning stage, this idolization phase, back in motion, that we're just hitting the bump here, especially in the beginning, or you don't know what's going on. You don't want to fix it, and especially men are big time in the fix it category, as far as early on in life when it comes to relationships and stuff. And so what happens is then but at some point, most people that they choose are like that, and then they even get worse, because their old sources of, say, primary supply, or their secondary, tertiary, or whatever, these guys are going to be either people that are either they're going to be narcissists, or very heavily narcissistic, or they have some sort of habit, addiction, drugs, alcohol, anything, something to where the narcissist can always keep them down and keep them at bay, but they'll never be a primary source of supply, because that's not what the narcissist is looking for when it comes to a primary source of supply. They're looking for that person that can also become their new parental figure. So it's kind of like they see a lot of the traits that they want, and maybe they wish that their whatever that parental figure had that did them wrong, or got them going the wrong way, that made them a narcissist, right? The one that, or where they lack, where they got lack in their life, or if they were, say, a golden child, the way they were treated so well is what they're going to be looking for in their partner, because it's almost like passing a baton, that when they leave, if it's when they leave, say, a golden child parent, the parent, when they leave that parent, for instance, and go to you, they want you to become that. Or if they see these qualities in you that they don't have, but they want to acquire, that they've been missing, or missing in their parental figure, or then, and they see it in you, then they want to acquire that. And a lot of times narcissists think they can acquire that, and that's to acquisition of traits, and that's when they talk about your trait, acquiring your traits. And so what the problem is with this is when you smarten up, man, and and it's almost unbelievable to them that the empath that gets away, the empath that grows, they start to learn some of this, get some information, or they don't, but they get to a point where they know that they're dealing with a toxic individual, and they're starting to at least finally get some red flags, and over, say, because maybe they're a little bit older at this point, and they've dealt with something similar to this before. And so they may go into it originally and get trauma bonded and all that, and spend a lot of time with them, give them everything, but then at some point, decide that, hey, I've had enough of this, because a lot of times what the narcissist will do is they will continue to test the bounds with you and see if they can push you a little further. And then when they pushed you too far, then they'll kind of reel you back in. They kind of know how far they can push you, but the thing is the narcissist does a lot of pushing, sometimes too much. I mean, we're well and way far beyond what the average person in humanity deals with on a traumatic level that we're agreeing to. Okay, so when you're talking about empaths, we have endured some trauma, and when we go from our childhood, but then when we go back to this narcissist as a love partner and experience it again, it's worse a lot of times, and so But when you get to that level and you've had enough, they don't see that. A lot of times what they like to do is break you down to a point to where when they leave you, you want them, and they don't, that's enough for them. They don't want you. Or they break you down so far that they will never want you again. Like, you're so pitiful that they'll never want you again. But and that's what happens a lot. They'll break an individual down to nothingness, man, where they're not. In a narcissist's head, it's like they're good. There's nothing, that, they really, at least for a long time, that they think they would ever want to do with this individual, because you look so pitiful, right? And I'm not thinking this is funny. I mean, I've dealt with some of this myself in the past, and not so much in this past relationship, because I had kind of gotten to a waking period, but I have done enough of mistreating myself, man. And so then you begin to hang it up with them, man. You hang it up, you walk away, you block them, you do all that, and then they really will get to a point to where, if you're one of those certain types of empaths like that, because this is the thing, if you could break down an empath that is a challenge as well, they usually have a lot of fuel, more than the average empath. And they may even have a little bit of a front to them, because maybe they have been jaded a little in the beginning, in the past, so they kind of got a little front to them. Of course, the narcissist can see through the front. And so, but they know who you truly are as far as empathic back there. But it's kind of like, they may have to work at it a little bit, but when they get to that gold, when they get, past those boundaries and those barriers, they're going to be getting a huge amount of empathy from, say, a super empath or somebody like on that level. And to bring them down to, say, a codependency level is something that they just absolutely love to do. So they also want to get to a point to where that they can, of course, knock you down. They try to destroy individuals that they need the most, and that they actually kind of like in a certain sense were the best forms of fuel for them. They like to knock them down, the hardest, because they want to go out there and live it up, or deal with your other sources of supply, or in their harem, and then they want to have the ability to come back to you and you still be knocked down and pining for them. So if and when they stalk you, or they check up on you, they just want to see that you're down. A lot of times, if you're down, usually two things, it gives them two things. One thing is it gives them fuel, knowing they're still better than you, and number two, they could come back to you whenever they feel like it. So they may not rush back, because they may just stay out there, because they're riding off your fuel, whether you know it or not. When you're down and out, they're still siphoning fuel off of you. They're still weakening you. Because they know you're ruminating on them. They can tell in just one glimpse, especially if they can see you physically, because that's what they look to do. They can read the whole aura around you and everything, just your mannerisms, just even if they even talk to you, or they don't even have to talk to you, they can look from far away, a hidden eye, and they can tell right away. And then they don't need to do anything else. They know that they had knocked you down far enough to where, man, you still damaged. And then they get supply off it. They got to be better. They gauge their regulation from their supply, their past and their present supply. And, flying monkeys and things like that. That's what the challenge is. I think that a lot of unaware narcissists, or somewhat aware narcissists that are kind of on the lower echelon, may not, they know this, but some of it is unconscious. It's unconscious action, some of it. They still know that they're doing evil and doing bad and manipulating and, destroying individuals, putting people in psych wards. Sometimes people die over this stuff, end their own life, and things, I mean, like, horrible things can happen and have happened in a lot of situations with some of these narcissists, and that they don't just call them socio and psychopaths for nothing. So then they will ruminate on you if you're that type, and they will not, they won't be able to just put you down. They will continue to hoover and hoover and hoover. But the thing is, you know, a lot of times, like I talked on several days ago, a lot of times, you know, we end up discarding the narcissist because we can't handle anymore, or we're not going to take anymore. But then we'll end up re-hoovering ourselves. Oh, we're going to show them, we're going to teach them. They go out with their other source of supply, catch up with them, and then we re-hoover ourselves. We don't teach them shit, you know, that way. Yeah, I mean, to teach them anything is when they completely lose you, and when they completely lose you, it's going to be not 3 months. It's going to be in a period of you have had no contact with them for a year or so, and you ain't having that shit, and they still, that's when they start really getting thirsty. Is, you know, I mean, it could be different with different narcissists, but we're talking about typically, you know, they're not going to be pining for you so much until at least after the first 6 months of no contact. Literally, that's when they're going to start getting thirsty for you. It could be sooner, but typically speaking, you know, they can go quite a while without dealing with you, without it being even an issue or a problem. But when you make it that far and you have broke the trauma bond and you're getting back on your 2 feet and you're digging your new life, right? You've wised up, you've changed, and when you're doing better than the narcissist, man, then they can't have that happen. If they see you while they're stalking you or whatever, and they see you doing like head and shoulders above them, they don't like that. They can't live like that. So it makes them ruminate over you, and then they start to re-idolize you. And when they re-idolize you, it's like they take these Polaroid snap pictures of you when they idolize you or re-idolize you. And, you know, and they build this whole framework of how awesome you are. Now, when you injure them each and every time, when you tell them, no, I don't want you, or, you know, then, you know, they, you know, make you the enemy again. But when, you know, a lot of times, you know, they have a problem, a real problem, when you're an empath or a super empath or somebody that, you know, they thought that they have destroyed it. They thought that you were a complete codependent to them. They thought they had you in the bag, so to speak. And then you've wised up and you've healed up and you've left them. And every time they try to talk to you, they have to get at you physically in the physical form, because you got everywhere else blocked, and you just continue to say, I don't want you. I'm cool, man. I'm good. You live your life, man. I'm cool. Like, I've had enough of that shit. You know, that's like asking for cancer, you know, when you've been cured. You know, I mean, you don't want that shit no more. And so they can't have that, man. They have a hard time with that, because they are supposed to be this in this kingship, man, and you're just supposed to be nobody. You're supposed to be their tool. You're supposed to be you know, here to take care of them, here to do their bidding, and to be lower than them, and for you to raise up higher than them. And you don't want them back. They have to come out of their fantasy world and tell themselves that you must be better than them, because you don't want them back, and you are doing better than them. And they can't rationalize that forever. They can't rationalize that forever, that you're doing better than them. You're looking better than them. You got better clothes than them. You got a better job than them. You're making more money than them. You're pursuing a second form of income. You're going to the gym. You're more fit than them. You're happy. And you're more authentic than you ever have been before. And then when you have now started to talk to somebody else, and you got a real individual that's authentically treating you responsibly back the way that you were treating them, you're treating them good, and they're, oh my God, you're getting reciprocation. You're getting somebody that you met that's not a narcissist, that, you know, is empathic as well, and you guys just loving on each other, man. The narcissist has a really hard time with that. They may never live that down because you were the primo source of supply. And when they were with you, before they were, when they were utterly out to destroy you, you were still throwing love at them, man. And they know. What they find out is if they would have just laid back a little bit more and not, got so pompous and decided that, let me just cut their head off because they mean nothing to me and I can get them back whenever I want. That's that pride comes before the fall, right? Well, that's what they do. And then, they want you back. They think they can always get you back and they can't. And these other chumps over here ain't shit. Okay? And even if they are shit, when you can't have something and you used to have it and it was real good, okay? It was almost so good, if they had to pay for it, they couldn't afford it. You weren't the McDonald's meal, okay? Even if they want to look at you like an object, fine. But you weren't the McDonald's meal, man. You were like the Steak 48. You were like the Ruth Chris of meals, okay? You can't just go there breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Well, they don't have breakfast anyway. They don't have lunch either. You can't just go there and get you a $150, $200 meal every night. I mean, some people can, but and that's what you are. They're hanging out with the McDonald's Happy Meal. That's their new supply. I mean, not always. I mean, generally speaking, but and you're the Ruth's Chris, man. Except the problem is Ruth's Chris. There's still a McDonald's out there, and there's still a Ruth's Chris. Except the problem is you caused too many problems at Ruth's Chris. So Ruth's Chris said you can't come there anymore. You're not allowed. Security kicked you out. Okay? And if you show up there, we'll call the police. So now they're forced to go to McDonald's every day. Whether they like it or not. They're forced to take their thumb and stick it up their ass. And that's what happens. And then they're like, I had the perfect supply. And sometimes they even had a decent chemistry with them and, and stuff, and decent, when they were acting right. And then they screwed it up. And then, they think they can always get it back. And when they can't, when you push too far, just a little too far, man. You went out, man, and you did your thing with, all the other scrubs, and then you want to come back. The problem is we went to church, man. And we've seen the light on your stupid ass, and you are revoked. So that's what happens, man, and they can't live with it. They may fight that for the rest of their damn life, and let them. They deserve it. They deserve to ruminate over you for the rest of their life. They deserve to have a narcissist injury over it. They deserve to feel like a piece of shit, because that's how they treat everybody and everybody out there. At some point, they get to a point to where if they get low enough, I'm telling you, they will be with the lowest of the low. They like to be in nice places. They like to get fed nice and wear nice clothes. But a lot of times, they're really at the bottom. They're really with drug addicts. They're really with low-hanging fruit. The people that are out at night cheating and doing drugs, or are fucking everything, and are having sex with everything in sight, and with non-trustworthy individuals who manipulate them and will actually beat them if you're a man who is dating a female. that whoever they get with, they're going to be with narcissists and you know, street crawlers, you know, and people like that. They really are. You were like the shit, okay? And they lost it, and they can't have it, but that's what they have to lay in. They made their bed, let them lie in it. So give me a like, a thumbs up, give me a subscription, and I love you guys, and that's what I got for today. Peace out. Stand tall, soldier up. We out, y'all.